Hi everyone, welcome to Honey Drops Tarot. This is a general reading for the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Sagittarius, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your likes, shares, and subscribes. I truly appreciate it. Just a quick note, please do not fall for any scammers. I will never reach out to solicit for a private reading. I do offer private readings, and if you're interested in signing up for one of those or in making a donation, you can find that information in my Buy Me a Coffee link, my official Instagram and TikTok, all listed in the About section of my YouTube page. And I thank you so much in advance. Sag, I hope that you're doing well. It's a general reading, but it has kind of a theme to it, which is what your dreams are trying to tell you. I had a pretty intense dream the other night, and it kind of spawned this idea that I should do dream readings. I'm going to be using two decks for your reading today. The first one is the Dream Decoder deck for the overall energy, and for your tarot, it's going to be Mystic Mondays. The cards have been pre-shuffled. This is for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. What messages do you have, Spirit, for Sagittarius? Unfamiliar secret or unused room. Ooh, that's a good one. Unfamiliar secret or unused room. Have you been having dreams of being inside and kind of wandering hallways, wandering spaces? I'm really drawn to the fact that the kind of background here is all dark, and it kind of looks like outer space, so it already feels so dreamy. Not all the cards in the deck look like this. It's like it has dimension, but it doesn't have dimension. A house or home in a dream is a symbol of yourself. The idea that every single room in your mind or in your dreams represents a different aspect of your psyche. This is making me think of Sherlock Holmes. If you've ever read Sherlock Holmes, or you've watched the television show with Benedict Cumberbatch, which was excellent. There's a portion in the very first episode that kind of establishes him as a character that talks about, like, people kind of wondering how he does it. How does Sherlock solve things or remember things? And he describes it as a mind palace. He puts all the information into different rooms in his mind palace. And through the process of meditation and then extrapolation, he goes into each of these individual rooms to bring forth the information that is relevant for the situation at hand. All right, I just dropped my Palo Santo as I was lighting another candle. I don't know why that feels relevant, because I've never dropped my Palo Santo. It was not lit. Thank you, Spirit. That's relevant. Okay. Let me think about why that's relevant. Can I just clear the energy? It left some ashes on my desk. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. Maybe you are searching for space in your subconscious for somebody past, somebody who has passed away. Maybe you haven't thought of them in a while, and you're looking to them for guidance right now. You're looking for them. This can also describe just the imagery itself. It feels like the Akashic Records. Akashic Records being the library in the sky, a library in a higher dimension that carries within it all of the past, present, and future possibilities of our lives. So if you've ever had your Akashic Records read, then you know that I mean, you can ask all sorts of questions, but you can find out about your past lives and what you did and who you were and how you functioned in those lives. Interesting. I'm feeling strange. Sometimes I have that phenomena where my eardrum, it's almost like it's constricting, or it's like somebody's drumming on it. It's uncomfortable, and it only happens when there is resistance to message, either on some other entity's part or your part. It's happened again. There's resistance. Somebody doesn't want me to talk about it, which makes me think this is a buried memory or desire or something that, well, I will tell you, if we're talking about the Akashic Records already knows all the possibilities of our existence exist in the Akashic Records, even if we never chose that path. In some dimension, we chose that path, and there's a record of it. Akashic Records is all about, it's data, but of the universe. So these are very heady concepts, Sag, but I think, you know, the thing about Sages are, you're so learned. Of all, not to say that the other fire signs are not learned, but of all the fire signs, you're the most learned. I'm a Sag rising, so I feel as though I can speak to our people, right? Sagittarians love to read about history, they love to travel, they love to explore new concepts. Tell me I'm wrong, right? I'm not. Sagittarians are constantly curious about the world we live in and the beyond. Philosophy, right? So it wouldn't surprise me if you are trying to explore these concepts, or there's some part of your subconscious that wants to explore something that you've never explored before. But part of that could be like uncomfortable, especially if you're looking at a past person or a memory, maybe that you haven't thought about in a while. If it's a passed away loved one, maybe they've long since gone and you just try to bury it for whatever reason. I don't know. You tell me. But now you're at this point where you're trying to explore. I'm gonna let the tarot say the rest. I'm gonna get 3 cards for the base spread. It's gonna be a shorter reading today. I am purposefully making shorter readings because I feel, you know, the time is limited. I personally love longer readings. I love to watch longer readings and be more thorough when I give readings, but please let me know. I'm not going to shortchange a message by any means. If I need to go longer, I'll go longer. But every time I sit down at this table to read tarot, I always talk to my spirit guides. It's like we make a pact with each other of how I'm choosing to read. So like, for example, if I said to you, I'm not taking reversals today, it's because I've already had that conversation with spirit that if a reverse card comes out, I'll flip it over. Very rarely do I do that, but sometimes I do. And especially if spirit directs it, then that's how it is, right? So anyway, I am reading reversals today. 4 cards on the table. The last card is advice from spirit. You start with the Lovers in reverse. Major Arcana number 6, Gemini energy. Anytime I talk about major arcanas, that describes the first 22 cards of the tarot. A typical deck is 78 cards. The major arcana are the archetypes of human experience. The minor arcana are describing the everyday circumstances, decisions, thoughts, actions, the everyday, the material world that you and I can affect. But when major arcanas are involved, your spirit guides are heavily influencing the momentum. The Lovers card talks about divine partnership, divine union, higher order union, but it can also talk about being at a choice point, a decision point that speaks to our heart chakra, our heart space. You got this card in reverse. Lover's card in reverse kind of tells me that there's a disconnect between, a little bit between what you have and what you want. Doesn't have to talk about a person. It can talk about something that you've planned out for yourself that's not quite coming to fruition. Aries got a similar message with different cards, of course, but they got a similar message. Something you wanted or were hoping for. It's not quite there. Not quite where we want it to be. Perhaps because you had to make a different decision. You're no longer at the choice point. You've already made the decision. And it could have separated you. I'm getting a very specific scenario that literally could just be for one person. So take it as it resonates. If it doesn't resonate, I'm not predicting this. I just have to say it. I watched a video on, it doesn't matter, Facebook, I don't know. This woman was talking about how she Googled her ex-boyfriend. She currently has a boyfriend that she loves, but she Googled her ex-boyfriend just because she was curious and found out that he had passed. And she didn't want to keep any secrets from her now boyfriend, so she told him just to be transparent. And he didn't get upset. He just said, you know, why did you feel like you wanted to do that? And she said, I don't know. I love you very much. It's not that I don't love you. I was just curious about what had happened to him. Spirit is ringing my ear. That's why I paused. Spirit is ringing my ear. Let me finish my story for Spirit, and then I'll talk about it. So, sorry, that was so, it's like wiped my mind blank. So she realized that she needed to grieve this person, even though they had broken up a long time. It was like she grieved it once, and then she had to grieve it again. And then she realized that, judging by his reaction, her boyfriend's reaction to this whole situation, that indeed she was with the right person, because he had compassion for what she was experiencing. It's not that she wanted to be with that other person. It's just that he at one time was important in her life. He's no longer there, and he's no longer on this earthly plane. But it could have been something that she buried a long time ago without coming to like full closure, right? She didn't say that. I'm just riffing. But Spirit is showing that to me very specifically. So if you resonate with this message, if you have an ex or somebody from your past that is in spirit that you didn't really have closure with, please know that Spirit just rang my ear. So, and it can be difficult to talk about because now they're drumming on this ear, which is uncomfortable. So it might be a hard message for you to hear, and I'm saying it with so much compassion and empathy for what you're going through. And I'm sorry for your loss if this is what you're experiencing. But they're not far from you, right? Now, it depends on the relationship you had with this person. Maybe you don't want them anywhere in your life, even through Spirit. Just make that very clear. Make that very clear with your spirit guides that you don't want this person in your life anymore. But if you do want this person to be a spirit guide to help you in your earthly journey, then you can say that too. Please do. There's, I don't know if all of you have watched my Honey Drop stories. There's a story, there are two, I only have 3 videos for those stories, and 2 of them talk about a person that was very important to me that has since passed away. And it was very tumultuous at the end of our friendship, and it was just a friendship, but I cared very deeply about this person. And he's now a spirit guide. To what capacity, we're still trying to work that out, but he sends me signs. When I tell you, he sends me signs. Probably some of the strongest I've gotten. There is something after we leave this plane. It's just a different place. And I'm so thankful to him. Even though I only knew him for a few years, he's become such a tremendous person in my life. It doesn't mean that I'm still not mad sometimes, because I am, and he knows it. So that's what I'm picking up on. Next card out, the Magician. I think you're the first one to get this in 6 readings. Number 1 of the major arcana, Virgo and Gemini energy represented here. The Magician wields the power of all 4 suits of the tarot, right? The Pentacles, the Cups, the Wands, the Swords. The Magician is the master manifester, can make things happen through their own gumption, their own willpower, their own ability to channel and utilize the resources at their disposal to make things happen. So there's something that you're bringing in for yourself, that's for sure. I see a little bit of conjuring energy here. It's like chi, creating the chi ball of energy. You could be a Reiki healer, Reiki master. You're bringing in something for yourself, and you're doing it with a lot of skill. Spirit just said a lot of skill. This could be something that you're looking into your past lives, or maybe you've had regression hypnosis. Finding out, I find that to be very useful. Well, okay, I can't speak to that exactly because I've never had that, but I have had my Akashic records read, and so I know some of what happened in my past lives, and I will tell you, it helped me to understand a lot of my behavior in this life. So I'll give you an example. I asked my Akashic records reader, why is it that I just cannot seem to finish things that I start? So I'm not talking about work things, because you get paid for that, and there's a different kind of brain of motivation, at least for me, when it's work related. But when it's for myself, if I'm like, there's a book that I have 18 chapters written, haven't finished it. It's been like 20 years. A lot of what I wrote in that book has now become my reality, because it's a lot about psychic energy and power way before I ever knew. I knew somehow Spirit was channeling it through me, but I never finished it, right? I was working on a high advanced degree, a PhD, didn't finish that. There's just a lot of projects that I haven't finished, and I hate that. I hate that about myself. I try not to get too down about it, but I ask the records, why am I like that? Why am I like that? That's why it's so important that I have this channel. I hope you guys get something out of it, because for me, this was a project, a passion project, a calling that I could not say no to. I could not make excuses for, and I don't. I spend almost every weekend of my free time recording, because it's a calling. And so you might have something like that in your life that you want to finish, right? So the record keepers described a past life where I died very early, and I didn't get to finish things in that past life because I had passed away. And it was almost like the echo effect, the ripple through time, through my lifetimes, that energy, that lament of not being able to finish has followed me into this lifetime. And so now that I know better, I need to do better. So now that I know that, I can rally even harder. I refuse to moving forward. I refuse to allow myself to fall victim to these past traumas and these past life energies. No. I will finish. And I feel that energy for you. I will manifest. I will bring this into my life. You know, you learning about yourself, learning. It's beautifully reinforced with the Eight of Wands. Fast action, fast communication, no holds barred. You're doing it. Eyes on the prize. Beautiful energy too for a fire sign, right? This is in your element. And what's that song, Spirit? Something not stopping us now. We're on the move. I don't know why I can't think of all the words to that, but we're on the move. Spirit's advice, Five of Cups in the reverse. Five of Cups in the upright talks about a lament, feeling sorry for ourselves, down and depressed. And Spirit is saying, whatever inklings you had of this energy that kept you back, you're lifting out of it now. And Spirit is recognizing that it's time to let go, right? Especially if it had to do with that situation of somebody from your past. Maybe somebody from your past told you you couldn't do something, you couldn't manifest something. Take it as it resonates, but you're lifting out of that energy of self-pity, of, you know, woe is me and I'm never going to get anywhere, whatever. However, nasty ways we talk to ourselves. No more of that. You're in this energy now. So that's your reading, Sag. I hope that it resonated. If it did, please like, share, subscribe, comment down below. Please hit the bell notification to be updated as to when I post new readings. Thank you, Sag.